Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Kayak Talk. Today I'm going to talk to you about the canted stroke with a Greenland paddle. My paddle today is Kayak by Gearlab Outdoors, and I'm going to talk to you about the proper technique, how to hold the shaft on the Greenland paddle, and the blade angles, etc. So let's start with your hand position, okay? So when you have the shaft on a Euro blade, what you do, your knuckles here actually align with the top of the shaft. So when you hold it that way, it gives you this straight vertical angle towards the water in the catch phase, in the enter phase of the stroke, okay? But if we hold the Greenland paddle's shaft the same way, so the knuckles are aligned with the top of the shaft, what happens is you have to go into the water as well with that vertical blade angle. So when you put the blade vertically into the water like that, because of the way that the Greenland paddles are designed, it flutters, okay? So what is fluttering? So the flutter is when you put the Greenland paddle into the water, if you go straight and you give push, you see, I'm not doing it myself. It is just happening on its own. So I put the paddle straight into the water, and then when I put pressure on it, the paddle goes into water in this motion, and it is called fluttering. And you lose power, you lose your rhythm, and it doesn't feel good. So to prevent the paddle from fluttering, you use a stroke that is called the canted stroke, okay? And the canted stroke is a bit different, and it feels different when you first learn it. It feels weird actually. But let's get into it. So instead of aligning your knuckles with the top of the shaft, you actually pull your knuckles towards yourself, and the second set of your knuckles in the middle of your fingers are aligned more or less with the top of the shaft. So this way, what happens is when you rotate the paddle forward, the angle on the blade is more dramatic. So instead of having a straight angle, you have like 15, 30 degrees angle while you enter the water, okay? So let's see that in motion. So instead of going straight, I can't, and I enter the water. So when it enters, you see, I put power into the blade, but it doesn't flutter, and it's just smooth. So I'm used to the canted stroke, so for me it feels quite natural at the moment. But at the beginning, when you're practicing the canted stroke, because of the way that you slice into the water, it feels like it pulls you down like this. There are a couple of reasons for that. Actually, you need to know how a Greenland paddle works. So compared to the Euroblade, actually at the enter phase of the stroke, there is no power that you get from a Greenland paddle. It is quite minimum. So when you're slicing into the water, if you put too much pressure on the blade, again, it's gonna feel like it just pulls you down. Like it wants to go down because you're slicing. There's no catch in the water. The catch starts when you actually are in the water and pulling the paddle behind you in a way. So it enters, and then the power starts coming. Okay? So when the power starts coming towards the second phase of the stroke, then you can really push in, and instead of actually pulling it out from the water, you are actually kind of moving the pedal upwards in a way. So not straight up, exit, but you're pulling upwards and then lifting it up. So you are using the lift with your blade to create power with a Greenland paddle. And the hands, the motion, instead of going straight across your body with the paddler's box, okay, what you do, you actually imagine it like you're pushing it downwards toward the center line of the kayak. So the top hand pushes downwards towards the center line, okay? And then that will give you the lip on the blade. This takes some getting used to, so do not be discouraged when you first try it and it feels weird and you don't get as much power as you expect. But once you get the hang of the cant, the angle, and this can be different depending on how you feel comfortable. It can be 15 degrees, 20 degrees, whatever, okay? There's no right or wrong. It's just how it feels, but the aim of the cant is to prevent that fluttering motion like this with your paddle if you are not paddling correctly. Another benefit of a Greenland paddle is actually how silent it is, okay? So when the Inuits, the Eskimos, when they were hunting and so on, it was quite important for them to be silent when they approached the narwhals or the seals, etc. So, but if you're not using the paddle correctly, then it's not going to be as silent. So sometimes if the angle is wrong, you see I create lots of splash in the water and so on. But if I'm doing it correctly, entry is soft and nice. You see, there's no splash in the water. Okay? So go easy at the entry of the stroke and then pull and push with your top hand down towards the center line of your kayak, and then complete it by pulling it out of the water to give you the last push at the end of your stroke. Couple of other things that you might want to consider is how tightly you hold the paddle and how light you should be actually with your grip. If you're holding it too tightly, you're gonna start rotating the blade maybe with your wrist. So you will have this cocked wrist, which is gonna give you pain, and you might get, issues with your wrist. So I suggest that you just relax your hands, okay? You can actually leave the paddle on your deck like this, and the blade is facing parallel towards the water. And to get the correct angle, you just put your hands on top of it and you grab, okay? You see, my knuckles are aligned, the second knuckles, with the top of the shaft, and you just rotate it towards yourself a little bit, and then you do the stroke. And you can open your fingers when you're pushing, and then it's gonna keep you loose on the grip. Try this and see how it works. Try different angles with the blade, and but do not give up, okay? This is gonna give you maybe 30% more power, and it's gonna be less tiring for you if you get the canted stroke right. Learning to paddle with a Greenland paddle is not tough, okay? It is just a different process because Euroblade paddles are quite common, and that's what most people use. That's what most kayak stations have. So beginners are not used to, even the professionals or long-time kayakers are not used to the stroke style with the Greenland paddles. But once you start learning it, it's a quite satisfying stroke. And as I said in one of my previous videos, once you learn how to use a Greenland paddle, I think it is quite hard to go back to Euroblade because, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, a Greenland paddle is way more versatile than a Euroblade. It is for rolling, for surfing, also for strokes that you can combine. So like combining strokes is easier because of the surface of the blades, they're just the same. So there's no back or the front side of the blade. So you can just find the orientation, and it just slices the water way better than a curved, dihedral, whatever blade shape with Euroblade, Euroblade styles. So just give it a try. Don't give up. And if you have any questions, please let me know down in the comment section below. I'm gonna answer your questions as always, as detailed as possible. And I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, please give me a thumbs up or send me a like. It helps. This is the beginning of my journey on YouTube, so I'm trying, and hopefully you just get some benefit from my videos. Thanks for watching, and happy paddling. Take care.